tool number 4, or ritual number 4 for grounding in your feminine body. This ritual or tool is flirting. So, flirting gets a bad rep, and it's because of how we define it. So up until now, your understanding of flirting may have been to act a certain way, like a flirty way, in order to get something. I have a completely different definition of flirting. It has nothing to do with getting anything. What all that flirting is being your whole delicious self in the presence of someone else. And because of that, just like kind of shining your sunshine, or whatever your, wherever your space is, whatever your feeling is that day, you just bless the world around you because you're that good. That is flirting, okay? It is not. Now, here's the thing. You will get stuff. Like, that's just a total side benefit, is not why you do it. But when you start having fun, being yourself, and just simply showing up that way. So I flirt across all gender lines, orientation lines. They're not even lines, spectrums. It's not about that. It's just about seeing and being seen. So like I flirt with the girl behind the counter at Panera. I'll be like, hey, how are you? How's your day? And here's the thing too. It's not, flirting isn't about necessarily like always being in a great mood either, right? Sometimes it's just about being real. So when someone says like, how are you doing? You're like, it's been a day, right? Just being real and authentic. So, but in general, like flirting is just this. I have an article on it on my blog, shamelessmovement.com, where I dive into deeper detail. But it's simply this: acknowledgement, presence, fun. That's pretty much it, right? You are having fun in the presence of someone else. You're acknowledging their presence because you're letting them like play in your light, in your sunshine. And it's really just like, yeah, like letting them enjoy being around you. That is my definition of flirtation. And I honestly, I see flirting as a spiritual practice. It is a way of sharing love and sharing light and being connected with all parts of ourselves, and allowing that to guide us through our day. So, and as I mentioned earlier, it's so funny. Okay, so I have to tell this story. So, I once seduced a restaurant in Atlanta, and it wasn't even as a belly dancer. Because of course, one might say like, oh, well, that's where you learned. And I did learn so much as a professional belly dancer, like how to own the room without saying a word, how to manage my energy, and also like crescendo and decrescendo the energy in the room based on like the music and the interaction and the crowd and all that stuff. So this is, so I may have learned how to manage that energy there, but it's seducing not from the way that we normally think of it, right? Where it's like we're trying to get someone in the bedroom, or we're trying to get something from someone, like I'm going to give them a little attention so that they return the favor with, I don't know, some other favor. So here's the story. I'm in Atlanta for an event, and I find myself, we were, kind of stationed in a hotel, and I found myself like going across the street to the restaurant across the street a couple times, like in a row. It was nice. The food was really good. And I just kept bringing like different guests in with me. And I was just being my normal self, which means that I was my normal flirty self. I was friendly. I was open. I acknowledged when people were doing great things around me. I was present, and I just let my light shine. So I'm in there and, bringing one party of friends and then another. And then I was there with my good friend Ellie B, and we're sitting and enjoying. And, and I said to one of the waiters, because he came over, and I was like, is it like a rule that you all have to be handsome to work here? Because I just let my words trail off. And he was so flattered. And of course, now they all had to, like, the whole wait staff, he was like, we are a good looking bunch. And like the whole wait staff kind of like paraded by our table and had to stop by and like kind of preen, in our attention. And it was so sweet because, one, I feel like very often, I know this is like totally heteronormative, but it's like very often men feel like they're the ones that need to compliment, and they rarely are the receiving end of that. And it's such a scary thing to put yourself out there like that and all that stuff. And so I just love when I have the opportunity to appreciate or acknowledge beauty, skill, like whatever, like whenever someone is showing up in their genius, and female, male, what have you, it doesn't matter. And seeing the response, because it's so touching. And so like they just melted and they were just so delighted. And I just thought like that was the cutest thing, right? And it was kind of true. Like they were all really cute. And I was like, is this a part of the application? Do you have to like be a model or something to work here? So they totally enjoyed that. So fast forward, and now it's like Saturday night. And I was like, all right, I've been to that restaurant like 3 times already. I need to do something different. Let's go to the fancy dancy restaurant in the hotel. So I gathered a group of people and we go up to the 7th floor to go to this restaurant. And lo and behold, it's a Saturday night. And so no shocker, they were completely booked. And I was like, oh no, let's go across the street. So we head across the street and we walk in, and there's a lovely lady behind the podium and the hostess, and I say like, and she's like, do you have a reservation? And I was like, no, we do not. We were like a table of like 6. And she's like, oh, we are totally booked. And I was like, oh, rats. We tried this other place, and now we're here, and we love the food here so much, and you guys are so great. And lo and behold, who comes around the corner in a cheerful red bow tie, but like the very waiter that I've been telling earlier that day, like, do you guys need to all be handsome to work here? And he's like, you. And I said, yeah. He's like, you're back again. I was like, I am. And we don't have a reservation though. And he was like, I got you. So totally found us a table, like made it happen. And and I know it's just a direct result of being playful and flirty and fun and not having any attachment or need or requirement attached to it. So here is your 4th ritual for grounding in the feminine, in your playful, flirty feminine. And that is simply to have fun in the presence of other people and let them enjoy your light. And you will find this has a pretty dramatic effect on how people respond to you, how you feel. I believe that it connects us with our turn on. It connects us with our playful spirit. It connects us with our own, seductress selves. And do it your way, right? And, ground rules, right, are that there's no attachment. We're not flirting to get anything. We're not flirting to seduce anyone, like, unless that is your pleasure, right? But I encourage you, I invite you to play around with different, because we're very familiar with the type that's like flirting to get someone in bed or what have you, like rock on. Like, I'm not disparaging that. I'm just saying, let's expand our definition and see where it can take you, because it's a really fun practice, and rewarding on so many levels. So that is your 4th tool for grounding in this feminine body. Enjoy.